Hello guys, today I'm going to be pulling for Last Rider Krau. Now before the summoning session, I do want to compare the Last Rider Krau to Fallen Cecilia and Ambitious Tywin, which are both ML 5-star knights available in the game. Let's start with Fallen Cecilia. Fallen Cecilia, in my opinion, is the best first pick RTA unit in the game, currently available. The reason why is because all of her skills are non-conditional, meaning you can use them against any team and they will always do what they're meant to do. Let's start with her S3. Her S3 just simply provides a skill nullifier to her entire team. Very, very simple. It just negates any damage from any skill. It doesn't negate debuffs, but any damage coming from those skills will be nullified. Her S2 grants her teammates a barrier for 2 turns at the very, very start of the fight. And when it's her turn again, it provides a barrier with the lowest health ally. So she constantly provides barriers over and over, cycling those barriers when her turn is up. Now, her S1, when you fully skill enhance it, it is 100% chance to provoke. She's able to lock down your DPS units on the enemy team consistently. It's 100% with a little bit of effectiveness. Most of the time you can get it. And if you're able to lock down their DPS, it's usually game breaking or game winning on your side. If you have Fallen Cecilia, it's a very, very, very strong unit. I think she's first pick worthy of RTA. The best knight in the game versus all teams. And what I mean versus all teams is that compared to Ambitious Tywin and Last Rider Krau, these both knights are conditional. In order to get the best out of them, you can only bring them versus certain teams. Now let's talk about Ambitious Tywin. Now Ambitious Tywin's S3 provides stun and decreased speed. If you're ever able to land stun or decreased speed versus an enemy team, whether it be one or multiple teams or units, you're able to cycle through their entire team's abilities before they're even able to move. Usually if you're able to go one turn before your enemy team and you're able to lap them, it usually wins you the match. Now let's talk about his S2. His S2 is conditional. His S2 has a 100% chance to dispel 1 debuff from all allies when any ally is debuffed. So once per turn, you're able to remove debuffs. That is his passive. It's extremely, extremely strong. I think he's a little bit overtuned versus debuffers. He's extremely strong just because of this passive alone. If you're able to apply debuffs, he's going to take them. And if he's extremely speedy, he's able to remove more and more. Very, very strong. It's a passive skill as well. His S1, it can provoke. It doesn't have a 100% chance like Fallen Cecilia, but it still has a 75% chance. And it steals 4 souls when you use it. In long battles, it can also be game changing. And the reason why I say he's conditional is because in order to use him to the best of his ability, you have to bring him into teams that have debuffs. If you bring him into teams that have debuffs, he's able to dispel those debuffs. That is his only condition. He's still very, very strong versus most teams if you have other units that can synergize with him, synergize with these debuffs. However, if you're not using his S2, well, you're not using him to his optimal ability, which is why I believe he's a little bit conditional. He's maybe like a second, third, or fourth RTA pick. Maybe not even like maybe a last pick as well. He's not first pick material. He's still extremely strong. Worthy of most RTA matches. Just certain matches you probably won't see him, but still extremely relevant, extremely strong. Now let's compare him to Last Rider Krau. Last Rider Krau, you can argue that he has 2 conditions. His S3 is an AoE attack that grants immunity to your team. Now the AoE attack itself penetrates defense, and it's able to stack up to 3 times. It's a damage stacking effect, so you use it once, use it again, use it a 3rd time, Every single time you use it, it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger until the third time. The third time is at max. It's capped at max damage. So in extremely long fights, he's really good. However, the immunity buff is most of the time only beneficial versus debuffers. And debuffers usually are AoE attackers. So he's really good against debuffers as well. But his S2 provides more damage mitigation. So he's like a combination of Fallen Cecilia and Ambitious Tywin. But because he's a combination of both, he has two conditions. You can use immunity or versus tanky teams, one or the other, maybe even both. And on top of that, you have a third condition, which is he provides barriers only if he gets attacked by an AoE attack to your entire team. It's a very strong ability. One is able to be procced. However, not all teams will have an AoE attacker. Most teams will, like things like Spectre Tenebria and SSB and Dizzy being part of the meta, and to a certain extent, Tenebria as well. You can bring them into teams like with those units, even if they have only that one unit, still strong against them. That is why I don't think he's like a first pick RTE material. We can talk about his S1 as well. It just provides him speed. Very strong ability and simple. So when you compare all of these three knights, I think Fallen Cecilia is a better unit if you're an F2P player and you're chasing Enel units, or knights, Enel knights specifically, because she can be used versus any team. She doesn't have any conditions to use all her abilities. She can use them versus any team. If you get locked down, oh well, everyone can get locked down. Any unit can get locked down. But if she's able to, go and use any one of her abilities, they are all going to be applied. Skill Nullify, shields, single target provoke. At 100% chance. She's good. I think she will always be relevant in the meta. Now, Ambitious Tywin and Last Rider Krau, they are not units you want to bring versus all teams. They are extremely great tools, but those tools can only be applied to certain teams. You're not going to want to bring Last Rider Krau into every single team. You're not going to want to bring Ambitious Tywin into every single team. So that's why they're the first, second, third, or fourth, or fifth pick, or last pick in RTA. They're still extremely strong, don't get me wrong. It's just they're not first pick material, but they will probably be meta relevant for a long time. Now, specifically, aesthetically, I think Last Rider Krau is just badass. Look at that. I love his sword. I love his outfit. Looks like the guy fucking works out, buff, jack that shit. He has this AI around him when his energy shield pops up. Probably really smart. Probably some type of cyborg, He's probably connected to some AI in his head. Very smart. He's also a problem solver. Super smart. Ambitious Tywin, career politician. He looks like he'll fight for anything. And I don't like his sword. His sword is too tiny. It's a very small sword. Fallen Cecilia, dragon. Looks like a dragon with a silver tail. And she's out, seeking for revenge. So she's like Sasuke of Epic 7, except she's a femme. Femme Sasuke. That's what I think of Fallen Cecilia. Sasuke's cool and all, but, I like other femme units in Epic 7 over her. And this is why I'm pulling Last Rider Krau, honestly, just completely because of aesthetics and, well, because I can pity him. So, let's get started.
Rika, a customer. We have a visitor.
Ooh, okay. We have enough to pity him. Let's see how many summons this will take. Whew. Yes, I would.